when he wrestles in pants, kind of like in like a tactical kind of pants. But
Okay.
all you see is his waistband all the time.
So Sheath would be perfect.
And all you see is Under Armour on that shit.
No way.
And I'm sitting there looking all the time, watching it, bro, going, Sheath would look real well on that.
Yeah, that's the
Roman Reigns hit us up, right? Hit Bobby up, bro. Like,
Rolled us a fatty too.
Yeah, no, I like that. I don't typically get too high on these, but
I don't even get stoned anymore, honestly.
yeah.
Well, the only way I feel is off edibles.
Oh yeah,
For sure.
what are you taking? What do you take to feel it or whatever?
At least like daily, just for pain, like 50 milligrams.
Wow.
Like 50 like in the morning, and then if I hurt later, 50 in the day.
Yikes.
And then if I just want to chill, like if I really hurt, right, like either moving the day before, I can take up to 200 a day and not even get tired.
Yeah.
Unless I'm driving. If I'm driving, oh dude, I get fucked up. Like, never mind. I gotta pull over and sleep.
Yeah.
Fuck
That's the
that.
thing with the edibles. Over a course of time, it's like I start getting real cozy. Everywhere's real. I'm like, I could lay down right about
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
So I was doing edibles like quite a bit actually. We were here with Kel Conroy, Co-Alpha One CEO. He's the one that does all our prints. We'll get into that. But we're just talking about some edibles right now. I remember I was staying at this dude's house, and he was like this super weed advocate for the legalization back when, like in 2012. And his whole fridge was like full of all these different edibles, and they were all candies, and I was just eating them. And I was watching Trailer Park Boys. I remember it was like this part in my life. But man, I slept for like 2 weeks on and off, like in this kind of hazy coma daisy. And it was right when we started our Kickstarter, that first Kickstarter.
Okay.
And so we're like waiting for the results, you know, about Kickstarter.
It was like 2014, right?
Yeah,
14,
13,
15, something like
12, 13.
Okay.
It was 2013, actually. I said 2012. And right around there. All right, we got a little fatty. Boom batty. Cheers.
Cheers.
This is my little sanctuary. It's where I do my podcast, and play chess, and meetings,
Beautiful view for sure.
meditate. Yeah, I'm very fortunate. We're in a good position. As the world is turning to who knows what.
Yeah, who the hell knows what?
Yeah, but you're getting out of here. You're moving to Arizona.
Yeah, like it's too expensive around here, man. And my biggest thing has been since getting into business is not over raking people for products, right? Especially when you're buying 50 to 100 products from me at a time.
Yeah.
Like I did it for a long time, trying to run business of like going through like Custom Ink or like other, print companies. And it didn't matter if I bought 100 shirts or 200 shirts, they were still charging me anywhere from $12 to $18 a piece.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to make any money? Most of the time I ended up like just keeping my shirts and then giving them away at events because I only sold half of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was like, what's the problem here? So I like dug into it and found out what it really costs to print your own shirts. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
You're getting a lot of like 22-hour days,
Yeah.
no sleep,
I've seen you.
crazy ass shit. So
You get in a zone though, or something. You just kind of get in a flow.
exactly.
Listen to some music and podcast or something.
So
maybe.
like a big reason besides just more family time is I don't want to pass all this inflation on to my customers.
Yeah.
So I'll go live somewhere that's cheaper, sell
Yeah.
my house. It's better for my family too, because I'm sick of working 90-hour weeks with my wife working 60 to 8-hour weeks as a nurse
Right.
and never being on top here.
I know.
Never being on top.
It's impossible to get ahead.
Barely even getting $200 in the bank at the end of the month. And I'm like, how is it that I'm working at Amazon plus my own job, plus my wife's a nurse? It's benefits, it's taxes. It's like I'm out. Go somewhere else.
Well, I like Arizona. I like the climate. I think it's gonna be nice. You can get some sun out there for sure. You're a little pale. You might need to get out in the.
I'm always in that basement, just printing away.
I know.
Or working graveyards, so I haven't seen the sun in a while too.
Yeah. The old days, working the 9 to 5 plus doing, you know, the company. That's part of it though. You have to pay your dues, and
That's it too, is like the faster you fall, the faster, the faster you rise, the faster you fall. So like I've always gone, well, it's taken 7 years to get medium recognition, mediocre recognition, right?
yeah.
But that just means that my rise is going to be longer, but my longevity is going to be longer as well.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like you're talking since 2012 with Kickstarter, it's 10 years,
Right.
right? And for, like you said, in the last couple of years, it's really just started bumping up for you. So
Yeah, the
you got to
organic
pay your dues.
growth for sure. You can't just pay some celebrity to promote you, because then you might like blow through all your inventory, and then you're stuck with people wanting more. You're out of it. It ends up creating a problem, more of a problem than a benefit. So
It really does.
slow growth is good. I mean, I remember I was working at this China buffet, and I was delivering Chinese food. It's already starting. And, while SHEATH, this is 2015, after the Kickstarter was successful, after the second one, after we're making money, I was also going for my master's degree. Granted, the government was paying for it because I went to
The Army, so you got the GI Bill stuff, right?
exactly. And they were paying me to go. So that's I was able to kind of like build SHEATH, but I was working on top of it so I wouldn't have to take money out of it.
That's the way it should be, though, especially for veterans. Like, you guys got to work on it,
I know, but I feel weird with the whole economy the way it is, with the expenses of the military and, war budgets, and when we have like problems here and inflation here, and we go to, I think they might know what they're doing. I kind of come around a little bit, like this is all for resources. This is like, like we're running out of water, we're running out of oil, we're running out of fucking resources, and they're getting ahead of it to ensure that we have what we need here, and it's going to have to come at somebody else's expense, unfortunately, and they don't care.
It is.
It's like kind of like farming, I think. It's an analogy where, you have a certain amount of resources, you have these animals, you want to take care of your animals, and in order to take care of your animals, their animals can't. Anyways, like you got to take the water and the food and the grain or whatever. And I don't know. I don't know if we're running out. I'll hit it again. But it's also, it just seems corrupt. It seems like, to me, people are getting away with murder, literally making blood money off of it, and we're the pawns.
I still, me and my wife talk about this all the time. Like, I don't think it necessarily has anything to do with color when I say slavery, right?
Yeah.
But there's been slavery for every race,
Yeah.
everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Right. And I just think it's modern day slavery. It's like the old George Carlin stuff says, right? Like, we really only have 4 choices. That's not freedom. Those are choices.
Right.
There's only 4 big oil companies.
Yeah.
You're only going to shop at, Kmart, Walmart, Target. So everything is so monopolized anyway.
Right.
You're just gonna,
Well, Democrats, Republicans, we're
and
giving you the illusion
they
of
need
choice.
to get that shit out of there too.
Yeah.
Just completely abolish each side, and if you're not for the people, you get the fuck out. Like, I'm sick of hearing, I'm sick of it, dude. Like, I was a kid and grew up in Wyoming, right? So I like to live Republican, but I like to live conservative, excuse me. I like to live conservative, where I don't want Big Brother up my ass. I don't want to pay $1 billion in taxes. I don't want all that stuff. But I want my freedom still to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
Right? And I want to help people. I still want programs, assistances for the needy. But the actual needy, not the people using it.
Yeah, or the bureaucrats in between that say
Exactly.
they're going to help, and then the money never makes it to the people on the streets.
That's exactly it. Like, what the hell?
These people are getting rich. They're living in Beverly Hills mansions, and there's fucking thousands and thousands of people under freeways.
And that's why they're shitting in New York right on their doorsteps.
And it could get so ugly.
Not New York, Cali, sorry.
Yeah, San Fran, LA, probably I don't know how New York is. I think, no, New York is bad. I've heard things. I listen
I've
to
heard,
pods. And they're like jumping at you and like, give me your money. And you're like, like, you know, on the subway, just fucking living in this on the either the subway or down in the kind of canals there. And I don't know, you know, the answer could be like stop wars, put the money here. But see, there's no industry, there's no money making off of helping the homeless. There's money making from selling missiles to Saudi Arabia.
Exactly.
I hear things.
It's all capitalism was ingrained in America since the founding. You know what I mean? Like, we're gonna do whatever we can to capitalize. Just like my daughter is bisexual, right? So I support gay people. I support the LGBT community, but I feel that if I put my logo on the website or whatever as the bi flag or whatever flag, you know, I feel like I'm capitalizing off something that's not my culture. It's my daughter's culture, and I support that culture.
Totally.
Right? But I feel like I'm capitalizing off. That's why I usually don't do sales off things either, like Memorial Day sales, and you know, is I feel like I'm capitalizing, and I get it. When you're in business, you want as much money as possible. But I also feel guilty of, I want people to buy it because they want to buy it, not because it's on sale, not because. Well, I know I have some weird twisted views.
I know,
that,
and I did too. Like, I used to not want to use my military service as a part of the selling, point, because it's like I want the product to speak for itself. But somebody along the way, this dude, the underwear expert CEO, was talking to him, and he was like, "Dude, just fucking use every angle you can, right? You know, to get ahead, or you know, to make money, to get sales, to get the product in their hands, and then the product will speak for itself. But if you need to tell your story, and the holidays are literally there for you to make a sale."
That's true. That is, I do feel that way around like Black Friday, right? Like when I look at the money, I'm like, what is it, like $2.3 billion or something is sold in Black Friday weekend, and I'm like, well, there's enough of that pie for me to get some too.
Yeah.
You know,
and you got good shit.
That.
Your shit is like super high quality. The prints are unique and kind of powerful, and
they last longer than I swear.
Dude,
most
they last
anyone
longer
else's.
than this shit. I'm fucking. This is my. I need to have you print these. I should stop the order. I just ordered 100 of these, and I've only washed this like 4 times.
And it all comes down to the cure process. I'm not going to give no secrets away. But it all comes down to your cure process. 9 out of 10 printers are going to send their shit through a conveyor belt. I guarantee that's what your people are doing.
Yeah.
If you feel mine right now, right? Mine's, I guarantee, as old as yours. Soft as hell.
Yeah.
Right? Well, that's the curing process. Most people will send it through a tunnel, which all it does is blow forced air. Or maybe times it has a heating element, right? So it's like, but all it does is cure it. But mine pushes it into the shirt, cures it for a minute, instead of like, they only run them for usually 30 seconds because they're trying to push bulk out. They're trying to get 500 shirts out a day.
Yeah.
Well, that's all good and quality, right? And dandy for them, but I'd much rather have a lot more quality than quantity, right? If your shirt's going to last 2 years, you're going to want a different shirt and a different design. You know what I mean? Like,
I have the gray shirts that you made, and I'm still wearing them. The green
for you
one
too. They're just all packed up, so we need to get those to you.
Yeah, they definitely. And so, but that's why you should, in a way, kind of charge more, because they're higher quality, they last longer.
And that's the thing I was like reading about, that is like, there's always this debacle of, when do you raise your prices, right? Well, if you're overbooked, right? Because obviously you're in demand, right? And also when, like you said, the time is right. To charge more. If you know that you're going to sell 20,000 during that season, make a little bit extra money and put them up by 50 cents a piece.
It is, I mean, literally though, we've had to do this on demand. Like our black and gold V, we're like almost out of them, and they're not going to be back for 6 months. And so we're either going to sell out really fast, or we need to raise the price a little bit. And we raised the price, I don't know, like $1, just to slow the sales down so they last longer, so until we get the next batch. And that's like a literal law of supply and demand thing. But there's also just, your brand is high quality. You're putting in that, human effort. Like you're doing it. There's something, you're not buying it from China. Nothing against China. Love China. But you charge more, and people sometimes want it because they're like, oh, this must be good,
Because it is quality.
and it is quality.
I get what you mean. There was actually that experiment. Excuse me. There's actually that experiment, social experiment they did. And Payless started a store on Rodeo Drive, but called it. They basically renamed it some French store.
No way.
Right, like Paylessa. Right, and it was fucking funny. Like if you actually look at the whole thing, it was plain as day. It was just French.
No way.
And they went in there and so like this grand opening, made it look all fancy. People for all kinds of, like
Celebrities
come in and
shit.
they're going, these are the best shoes I ever bought. They're on camera, right, saying this shit. And then right at the end, as everyone's paid for their shoes, the dude stands up and he's like, I just want to let you know this is a social experiment and this is actually Payless shoes.
Wow.
And everyone's like, oh. So right there, all it really shows is you need, like you said, you need some celebrity backing.
I mean, that
right?
doesn't hurt.
It doesn't hurt because they're going to verify your brand. Like you can go with 1,000 people that no one knows, but who cares?
I don't know, man. Yeah, that's like with these fighters that I go with. And I mean, so no one knows them except their gym and maybe some other people, but I like the fact that they're the kings of their gym.
No, I get that.
And so they're at the top of their little pyramid of that gym. And so that's how, and so if you get a bunch of those, it can kind of balance out. We've gone with big name podcasters like Bill Burr, Bert Kreischer, Joey Diaz, literally like tens of thousands of dollars and nothing. Brandon Marino, no offense, love you, baby boy. We just did our second podcast. And it was great. He was talking shit about Chael Sonnen.
I actually listened to it on the way up here.
Yeah, it was so good. and 26 views. We're revamping it. We're going to retitle it, thumbnail it. But sometimes, I mean, like this might get more views or whatever,
Yeah.
And I've had that where my brother-in-law, his podcast with him and I, he came on here. His is Bullet Wealth now. He started a podcast off of doing this podcast, which I think you could and should probably do one too. It's fun. You got a great voice. Your voice is really good for podcasting and, your stories and knowledge.
I actually always wanted to, that's what me and my wife were talking about is maybe starting a podcast for like sitting there and discussing marriage, right? In this day and age, right? And what it used to be like when our grandparents were alive and the changes that we've seen. Not only just marriage, but the triples and trilations. We see so much shit on social media. My wife is so against social media because you see fake.
I know.
You never see anyone sitting there going, my life sucks right now.
I know.
But if they are, that's all they're ever doing. It's never a balance of like, times are tough. Like, kind of like, give me some space, people. Like, whether it is, they're always posting pictures of their Florida trip, which they maxed out their credit card for.
Exactly.
Like the day in life is weird. Now,
Well, and like
right?
and then the relationships when they're at their best, and you see them when they look their best, they're fucking all done up. And they look so happy, and then in comparison, they say is like the killer of happiness or whatever, because you're like.
It is like once you start, the grass is always greener until you get to the other side.
Yeah, and then you
Right.
see
It's you
dead
seen
grass.
do you watch a lot of like Tyler Perry movies?
negative.
No, they're a little.
I know what you're
intense.
talking about, though.
But
The
they
dude,
have-
he dresses up like baby's mama.
He has a couple other ones too, where like Medea's little in it, but it's more of a
serious,
right?
black folks.
And
like
someone was
drama.
called "Why Did I Get Married?" And then
Uh-huh.
"Why Did I Get Married Too?" And it's a
Yeah.
group of people
I
who
think I
like
saw that.
it's
Not the
actually
movie,
it's
but
actually really
the
good.
title. Yeah.
And
Okay.
Anyway, the dude's sitting there and like this guy cheats on his wife, and one of the doctors sits back and laughs and goes, man, you never were taught the 80-20 rule. And he's like, what do you mean? He's like, what the hell is the 80-20 rule?
Yeah.
And he's like, out of any relationship, your spouse, your job, your friends, you're only going to get 80%.
Okay.
Only ever, right? So a lot of people see 20% out of something that they're not getting. right? You have your 80%, but you see someone providing the 20% that you're not getting. So you trade up, whether you cheat on your wife cheats on you, whatever, and they go to the next person, but all they really had was 20%. So now they just switched up their 80 for 20. You know how often that actually happens? You get what I'm saying? The other person only has 20% to
Right.
offer
Yeah.
when their spouse originally had 80.
Right.
But they want to trade it up because they saw that little bit of greener grass.
Yeah.
That-
Yeah.
Come on.
And then you get there and it's like she's 80% shit when your wife was 80% the shit.
Exactly.
And you're like, oh, but it was a facade.
It was a facade.
And then she's got dirty laundry and dishes everywhere, no job, a whole lot of
Skeletons
debt.
in the closet.
Yeah, all these fucking babies and shit from
babies, daddies.
Yeah, you're like, rewind.
Exactly.
Do over. Oopsie.
So-
Yeah, you know what? That happened to my dad. This is fucking crazy. This is like a literal, this like totally happened. He's with my stepmom, Louisa, you know, and he had cheated on my mom, I think. I don't know the full story with that, but he's with my stepmom, who's loud. Now she's like my new kind of mom on that side of the thing because she lived in California. And 14 years. And then one day this like young hot thing at work like showed interest at him. And she was this young blonde. And I don't know, she talked him into whatever. They ended up hanging out. I think they did like ecstasy together. And I came home. I was living there, and I saw him with her. But I was doing my own thing, and I was totally kind of like not that interested in what he was doing. But I remember he went out of town, and then he calls me, and he's like, "She's not answering the phone. Can you go like check on her? Can you see what she's doing? I think she's back with her ex-husband, who she's got 2 kids with or whatever."
Right.
And I was just like, I'm not getting involved with this. But ultimately, you know, he lost his, you know, wife of 14 years and my kind of stepmom. And then that girl left him after like 2 weeks. So he freaked out, had no, he just like tried to find some lady. He was like, he didn't want to die alone. And then he ended up with this fucking psycho, this fucking crazy lady who,
My dad did the same thing.
oh my God. He ended up like killing himself. Ultimately, it was that like, it was a bad.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, bro.
Well, he basically did. He just drank himself to death.
Right.
Ugh.
Yeah, that's
You know?
intense.
Yeah. Well, that's what the 80-20 rule.
And I try to think about anything like that, man. Like no one's perfect in this world. Like you have to just. My grandparents made it at least 45 years, I believe, before my grandpa passed away, right? And I know they would have made it until they both died.
Yeah.
And I was always just like, 45 years, like that's a long time, right? And just the honor to have someone's companionship for 45 years without wanting that distrust in their eyes, right? Because me and my wife had both been married previously,
Right.
both been divorced because of people cheating on us, drug abuse, just being bad people, right?
Right.
So, one, I know that I never looked at my ex-wife with any bit of trust ever again.
Right. Of course.
Never would. How could you? Right? Mm-hmm. And I don't ever want to give my wife that in the back of her mind of, are you really going to Bobby's?
Right.
Right? Are you really going where you're saying you're going? I want her always to believe what I tell her. Mm-hmm. So I think about that shit all the time. Like, fuck that, man. That 80-20 thing is real.
Wow.
So don't mess with that.
I like it. Wow, that's powerful.
Old school mentality. I don't know. Like, if you have someone to marry you, like, you got to take that shit like true soulmates, right? Like, I feel that she is my true soulmate. Like, she believes in a bunch of different spiritualities and everything, but she likes the concept of reincarnation. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, no, nope, because in my mind, that means if that's true, then I have to come fight all through this back shit to find you again, because I believe you're my soulmate. So, like, I don't want to do that. That I want to be in peace and I want to be able to do this my last time. I hope I learned what I learned.
Right.
And I get to transcend to the next being, whatever the hell that is.
Yeah. Yeah.
100%.
I was talking about that the other day because like DMT and like near death experiences, and people like seeing the other side supposedly, and life, consciousness outside of the body.
Yeah.
I feel like it's definitely possible. So, but what it is it Jesus or Moses or Muhammad or whatever? I think I kind of believe that it's based on whatever you believe.
I believe the same thing. Because if you look, I couldn't name them all, but supposedly there were 7 true religions, right? Is what I was told when I was a kid. But whatever those religions are, the basis of every religion is love, right? Love, forgiveness, peacefulness, except for some where we went on the Crusades and did other things, but it's okay if it's in the name of God,
Right.
kind of deal. Right?
God.
Whatever, they want to spin that whole term off to. So that's something like I just really just try to term with is like, it should be what you want to believe in. Stop pushing it down people's throats,
Yeah, we have these guys at the corner, and they'll be like, "Jesus died for your sins," and like kind of aggressively, and it's like, "Hey, keep it down." I feel like with mushrooms, they call to you, and like religion, it calls to you, and you by now you probably should have checked a couple of them out and maybe seen what works for you. I like Jesus. I like Hinduism. I like Buddhism. Not like I'm not that unknowledgeable about Islam enough to whatever. I've
Right.
only, and mostly what I've seen is on like movies or on the news.
That's going to be prejudiced somewhat.
Right.
And
So it's
especially
kind of,
after 9/11.
yeah. And you got like Malcolm X was kind of cool. I liked him actually. He was kind of cool, but like there was what seemed like a violent aspect to it, but I could be wrong about that. I'm not that. I don't really totally remember.
No, I got what you mean. Actually, I made my daughter. I'm big into all cultures, right? Like I might be bald, but I'm not racist. Like I tell people, you watch all the time. Your real skinheads aren't bald anymore, right?
Yeah.
Most of the time, they're sitting there just not like they're blended in with everyone else because they know what those people look like.
Right.
I'm just bald from genetics.
Right.
But like I literally made my daughter do a essay and research for like 2 weeks. We're doing homeschooling with her last year on Martin Luther King, and then made her do Malcolm X, and then do a contrast.
Okay.
Of
I like it.
Why do you think this way was more effective versus this way?
Yeah.
Right. And which way could they have both melted together to also work really well for the means of everything? Right. And she definitely saw the different means of like aggression over peacefulness.
Yeah.
And she was like, why? It's just, she thought it was really weird, but she enjoyed it very,
Yeah.
hardcore.
I mean, sometimes you have like you have to have a violent revolution in order to get results.
That's it too. Like you really do. It's true.
Yeah. And sometimes people won't listen until you fucking slap them.
Yeah.
And progress has been made, and like I think America is the land of the opportunity for like anybody, all the religions, all the races, sexes. Everybody has the right to succeed. We're all held back by the same kind of fucking overlords anyways.
Exactly.
So you got to pay your taxes and get through all these hoops just to get ahead and get out of the matrix, the rat race, the fucking cubicles, the army. Do your own thing, move out to the mountains, but it starts like here and with the dream, Martin Luther King. So, and he believed in what he was saying, and he made a big impact on people's judgment of black people who probably thought they were
nothing but animals and all that shit that they were putting out there,
raping white women and smoking marijuana or whatever.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
I can't believe that and people still believe that to this day.
Right.
Like that whole reefer madness and all that propaganda bullshit.
Right.
Get out of here with that. Come on.
Yeah, and that's the fucking news though. That's our then that's the powerful people at the top, which they, you know, I believe they control the media these days, the
How
government.
can they not?
Yeah, everything. And so that's what they wanted the people to think back then. And it took, you know, an example, shining example, even though I guess he was like really not that faithful to his wife supposedly, but it's just a rumor, and we all, what are you gonna do? We'll just stick to the positive message. And he looked good, you know, like putting the suit and the tie and the marching and the fucking, you know, everybody was real like clean and, you know, like looked like real nice, you know, and that can do a lot, you know, images, everything. And Hollywood can make you out to be a villain or a hero.
That's legit. I think that's my favorite line from any movie is anytime that Back to the Future is playing, right? And he's all like, who's that? Ronald Reagan? The president? Ha! Right? He's like, actors right there.
Right.
Like, we should have all known right there. Like,
Boom.
something's happening.
Bro.
Right? Legitimately.
That's...
Like, They started putting an actor in the president back then. Was it a forefront all the way back then?
I know. Well, and then they say that like Hollywood helped with the moon landing.
Yeah, there's a huge you like documentary movies.
Yeah.
It's called Room 321, I think, but it's that whole Stanley Kubrick about doing
Stephen King.
Yeah, I was telling you a little bit about it when you were telling me about your guys' pair coming out.
Yeah, the pair is coming out.
And
the Stanley Hotel. And what The Shining with Jack Nicholson.
So supposedly you really have to watch the movie because there's so much information in it, but basically they're saying Kubrick helped film the Apollo moon landings, right? And he gives a bunch of clues that he did in the whole like
the kid's shirt.
The kid's shirt, yeah, he stands up and it says Apollo 11. 321 was actually changed. Like Stephen King also hated this. Like this is why he took more control over any movie that ever came out afterwards. Is it came out and he changed almost every single aspect of it in the book.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So it wasn't room 321. The other room, it was like 327 or I don't remember exactly what the numbers are. But
one of those pencils.
Basically, the studio which was shot Apollo 11 was set 321.
Yeah.
So like that's why he changed the room number. So there's so many like things that they connect back to him faking the moon landings.
That's funny.
And also so much racism that Colorado had towards the Indians.
Oh no.
That's like put in there really hardcore, like how Colorado really massacred so many people. Me and my wife actually went and saw a castle. We went and had an old English tea for our anniversary, and then we like did the research on the castle while we were there, and it was an old French slave owner. But basically, there was some like dirty shit going down there that he was killing Indians, like big old massacre that he instituted, but it's all like these subliminal messages that are put into The Shining about like all the crazy stuff Colorado did against natives too.
Is that people just looking for shit though? Maybe.
I don't think so, because he actually did 9 months before he shot The Shining. He did a 6-month course with New York about subliminal advertising.
Oh, I love that.
So there's like old glass of whiskey and some ice. Maybe it was vodka. So it was some kind of mixed drink and then some ice poured in it, right? And inside the glass it says sex.
Oh, I saw that.
Right, and it was all subliminal messaging, and like so he did 6 months of this course with these people that do all these subliminal messages. Exactly. Underwear of legends.
That dude, I've had my team make it like a commercial and have like
a jingle kind of thing.
Comfort, like it would flash like comfort and then flat like real fast during the commercial.
Okay, yeah.
Sheath and in the middle of it, just to I don't know. We should do that again. Put that out there, Matt. Let's make another commercial.
More subliminal messages.
Yeah, I mean,
especially if you should advertise the Shining pair like that.
Yeah, and exactly. Subliminal Shining pair. Messaging for the Shining pair, because we need a little bit of these underwear are gonna change your life. And people say that. People literally say that to me, which we have a 3.21 version, which I thought was kind of interesting with the Room 321. But people say these underwear changed my life. And I'm like, relax. But people have said that to me.
It's really true though, bro. Like
So
you gave me
weird.
that first pair, and legitimately, I have not put another pair. My father-in-law, every time he comes up, he's like, "Do you have any more? Any
Wow.
more of those?" And I'm like, "Not in that size, not right now, right? Like,
Yeah.
have to re-up on those."
Wow.
But every time, he's always like, my dad loves them now. At first, he wasn't about them.
Yeah.
He was like, "They're not really for me." But he's not a silk person, and I think he mistakes the rayon for the silk feel.
Yeah,
So I
it
think
is
it
real
freaked him
soft.
out at first.
I don't like silk either, dude.
Yeah.
I had a suggestion that I make it out of silk, and I almost threw up because
Yeah, that's what I do too. I mentioned silk to him, and he almost throws up as well. He's like, "Ew!" Like he gets like all creeped out about it.
that's
I wonder
like
what that's
for
about.
chicks, dude. I don't know. Like, no, I mean, whatever. I don't like silk sheets. I don't like silk as
I've never
a fabric
had any
personally.
of that shit, so.
I mean, we all have different like kind of like
Yeah.
certain textures or whatever.
People think it's sensual and etc. etc.
You slide off the bed.
I can only imagine.
It's not
It's just bad enough with Egyptian cotton.
Egyptian. You got to get the 6,000 thread count.
See, and like if I like to believe that I've lived a previous life, right? Because there's
Okay.
experiences you think of, but something that resonates with me the most is Egyptian. Like
I love that.
hardcore. Like
Yeah.
I've always told my wife, I'm like, I really think I kind of want to be mummified.
Wow.
I have this belief that I'm not so much worried about my stuff, right? But I actually, this is something I like as an artist, but I've printed over, there's 6 boxes and each box has 600 or 100 films in it. So over 600 films, right? Which means 600 different screens I've printed in the last 3 years.
Oh, okay.
But I save every film
Wow.
and I store it, and it's almost cataloged into the order of which I printed them, right? And I went and I weighed it the other day, and it's 45 pounds of just literally plastic little film. You've seen them
Yeah.
in my house. It's the negatives or the positives for the screens, and there's like 45 pounds, and I'm like, well, that's kind of my art, right? Like 98% of that I did myself. I created it. I might have used someone's logo, but I put my spin off of it or the artwork around it, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, that'd be cool if it's something to be buried with. But I like the belief of, so I actually went and took off to be a donor, right? Because they take all your shit from you. I don't want my skin missing. I don't want my spleen gone, because I do have this resonance of like the Egyptians believed you needed those things to transcend to the next part of life,
I'm open to this.
right?
All right.
So I've always really resonated with that Egyptian side of things.
Oh, weird.
Hardcore. That's why I like that purple and gold feel a lot, or that, it's like a dark blue but purplish royal blue gold feel. That shit looks so good. Like we were gonna do with your podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No. Purple. Yeah, purple's like a royal.
royalish blue. Midnight purple, midnight blue. Like,
Yeah.
that shit looks
well,
so
like
good
like
together.
the Colorado Rockies color.
Yeah,
I like that.
exactly. Or shit, almost kind of like this.
This bitch ain't recording. I was here with Gilbert Smith twice,
It wasn't recording.
and it didn't record good. I called him Gilbert Burns, and there was a this static that I'm trying to like. That's why I'm wiggling my wire a little bit.
Right.
Make
Shit
sure
like
you
that.
know. Okay. Oh, that's
like-
blue. Oh, but I like that.
Yeah, with that dark blue, but this is supposed to be a better gold. But
That's cool though. Show the camera. I like that. You made that for the Salt Lake City.
Salt Lake City Police Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu team.
Fuck yeah.
Everyone can say what they want about police, right? But if the police is going to train in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I'm about that shit.
Yeah, I think that makes him a better person.
I think it does too.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of more relationship skills, right, that the police could learn to build.
Yeah, probably.
I worked in psych for 10 years
Wow.
at the mental hospital at Wyoming as both a CNA and a security guard, right? So
CNA, what is that?
certified nursing assistant.
Okay.
So basically, a couple of steps up, like 2 steps up for a nurse, but like 4 years of actual schooling that the nurses have to do compared to a CNA. We just have a certificate.
Did you wear a white coat?
No.
Okay.
Unfortunately, they don't do that. Well, not unfortunately, but
Orderly
they don't do that anymore.
uniform. What'd you wear?
We actually had security uniforms.
Okay.
When I was CNA, we could either wear scrubs or business attire, so we could, but basically had to. There's a bunch of messed up
I guess that's
situations with that, but I don't know. There's a lot of relationship skills that are missed that I think they always say, oh, well, you're nervous. Well, do you know my baseline? Maybe I'm always nervous, right? Maybe I'm just a jittery person. Maybe I have ADHD, right? Maybe I didn't smoke today. Like maybe I'm just a little bit antsy because I'm moving in 2 days, but you pulled me over. I already have a million things going on. I'm moving. Gas is expensive.
This is
Worrying
the
about
last thing I
bills.
need right now.
Exactly. And then
Yeah.
you're just a little shaken up, but you don't know my baseline. So how can you say I'm nervous?
I've been arrested before, and I've fucking gone to jail before, and I have weed in the car, and I don't fucking like this. You fuck. That's why.
Exactly. Right. And
I'm
now,
not doing anything.
I'm not
wrong.
doing anything now, but your position of authority makes me nervous because you
Right.
could abuse it at any second. I have no camera going. If I get a camera going, you get automatically defensive. Right.
Right.
And I get it. Like there is some white privilege associated.
Fucking dude, I've been arrested. Like I think I've gotten off like twice, where I don't know what. Like I just got lucky. I don't know because it was like a roach. I had a roach and then a joint another time. But every other like 6 other times I've been arrested, and like if you break the law, you fucking break the law, and then how you respond. No, okay. I don't know every situation, but like. You know, my advice is to just be as like respectful as possible and just fucking because you're not going to win that.
I learned that a lot. You respect someone that wants the respect, right? I get the respect is earned at times too, but there's just some things that it's easier to just deal with, right?
And sometimes they're just they're fucking assholes, and like skinhead, blonde hair, blue eye, Texas
totally
motherfucking
tell.
just like want to take, they like it. They want to fuck up your day. At least that's how it feels at the time. And like, that's how, that's who I've been arrested by. Anyways.
I totally get that. But yeah, since those guys hit me up, man, I was more than welcome to help them out because we've had a nice longer conversation with the sergeant. I think he is with Christopher Patakidak there. That's in Salt Lake City. They've done 2 orders with me now. They did just like rash guards last time, and then just recently they did rash guards and board shorts, so they can go to competitions in all of them.
Nice.
And it's the way I figure it is someone can learn. It's not always about choking someone out, right? If you can just exactly, you can learn to control someone better on the ground than killing them, like with whatever happened recently and what continues to happen. Knees on the back of the neck, on proper restraint techniques. We had a 1-arm restraint system at the state hospital, right? And I'm not gonna say the name just because it probably gets sued for it, but it was certified and everything, and it was humane. It was actually developed for little kids that were having violent outbreaks, and then they just developed a system where basically it was for adults, right? But you only had 1 arm. They had 1 arm free, so you were kind of like hidden behind the shoulder, so they couldn't hit you at all, and your stance was widened out, and you protected them really well. It was called a 1-arm restraint. When I first started, man, I just said that anyway. When I first started it, we used to have ground restraints. They barred those in like 2000, like 12 or something. So there's no more ground restraints when you're dealing with a mental patient in a state hospital.
What do you mean you can't throw them on the ground?
No, so you can't throw them on the ground.
Well, like put them on the ground and hold them there.
Exactly. Yeah. If they're on the ground, the only way that can happen is if you get a restraint board. And a restraint board is basically a 5-point restraint system where they lay on a board almost like a gurney, right? You have to have a nurse's privilege. They have to be violent enough that you can't control them, right? And they get strapped down with 5 restraints, 1 on each limb, and then 2 across the chest, basically. Or no, it's 1 across the chest. Yeah. And then sometimes they're violent enough for longer periods of time where even medicine's not working and things like that, where you actually put them on a bed that's a 6-point restraint system. So there's 1 across, not their chest, but their sternum, and 1 across their legs. So, but there's like a lot of like laws. So if it ever goes to the ground, you're supposed to let them up, and you have to re-engage in standing up. It's almost like kickboxing, right? But you're not fighting them. You're never throwing strikes at them. You're always deflecting. It's more of deflecting, maneuvering and pivoting them so you get behind them to get the 1-arm restraint in.
Yeah.
It was very humane.
Yeah.
Was the thing. Like, we never beat these people up. That's not what our jobs were. Like, even putting our hands on them was a last resort. Like, they had to be in immediate danger to themselves or others. So you get to know people over time, right? And someone's sitting there and they're yelling, but they have a weapon in their hand, but they're not hitting anybody with the weapon. 9 out of 10 times, I could talk to you and make you put that weapon down
Yeah.
by human relation skills, right? Just sitting there and simply relating to somebody of what's going on? How do you feel?
For sure.
Right? What's the real problem going on here?
Like a
you don't
fucking
want
human?
Yeah, like a human.
Yeah.
Right? And you get on, like, there's a thing where you get on their same level that they are at as well. If they're sitting down, then you kneel down. Because who likes to be on the ground sitting down and someone's above them? You have now a spot of authoritarian to them. They're not going to respond, they're not going to listen, and they're not going to interact with you or communicate you with way, because you're now authority. You're almost the aggressor to them, right? So you get down on their level and you look them in the eye. You keep your distance, so in case they do have a weapon or whatever, they're not going to hit you with it. But you sit there and you relate to the person, like, what's going on? And sometimes you can't be like, oh, I know that. Sometimes you really have to be like, I can't imagine what that's like, but I'm sorry you're going through that, right?
It's very I mean, you know,
And
like you would maybe treat your brother,
your family, exactly. Like any human, like it's human decency. That's one of the first things that we're taught. Like, so that's when we do this system that was called MET, right? I'm sure I can say it. It's just I can't teach it.
Yeah.
Our first, I think there was 12 chapters in the whole book. I was actually an instructor in it since I became a security guard. So that's why it's really important about the relational skills that are built into that book. I don't want to have to wrestle when I go to work. I didn't go and get a state job to get my ass beat every day, especially since I can't defend myself in the way I was taught in Taekwondo, you know, those kind of methods. I can't hit these people.
Right.
I have to deflect and restrain them, but I have to restrain them in a humane. So I can't lock in a rear naked choke. I can't do an omoplata, fucking, you know, I can't do any of that kind of stuff. I have to sit there and deflect. So my main goal is always not to fight. That should always be anyone's main goal, especially if I'm not getting paid to fight. Just like everyone said, if you're not getting paid, what are you fighting for?
You fucking just talking shit.
Exactly. That's different. Respect, you know, honor's different, but honor's definitely different. But I just don't see the point in going and getting paid $16.50 to maybe get my life ended. I mean, I had great benefits,
of course,
but I was like, all right, no. So that relationship skill really took hold into me, and so the first, like, there's 12 chapters, like I was talking about. The first 10 chapters are purely relationship skills. You heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs? Mm-hmm. That's built into there. Yeah. The crisis. Have you ever heard of a crisis cycle?
Probably.
So it's basically what someone in distress or crisis goes through, from baseline to escalation to full-blown crisis to de-escalation. But if you don't,
maybe not.
Yeah, so I could pull it up and I'll show it to you sometime. But wish we had like that Jamie, like we were talking about from Joe Rogan, right? Hey, bro, pull this up.
Yeah.
But basically,
we're not big time yet.
The Maslow hierarchy of needs, right, is just like a triangle. So at the bottom of it's your basic needs: food, shelter, that kind of stuff, right? And it starts building up with the end one being self-actualization or awareness. And basically that you're whole within your triangle. You feel whole as a person because your triangle's built. Mm-hmm. If you actually take the crisis cycle and flip that triangle upside down, it matches.
Oh no.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Meaning that most everyone that's in a crisis mode means that they don't have any of their they're at the very met. Exactly. Yeah. They're at the very base of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and more than likely it's food, it's safety, it's shelter, right? It's those basic living needs that we need. Right. So 9 out of 10 times that was usually what it was one of those 4 needs. Yeah. I'm hungry, but these assholes won't give me a snack. Right. Right. Well, food's not limited here. I'll get you a piece of fruit, right? You want banana or do you want an orange, an apple, whatever. They could have fruit whenever they want it.
I mean, isn't it though, like more probably based on some sort of trauma, like being triggered?
Of course, but that is where your psychologists get involved in it, right? Yeah. But there's a point where, like, when we're dealing with it, that when you find out the reason why it's happening, right? And that where it comes from the basic relationship skills of being able to talk to somebody, you can figure out what's wrong. Now, it might go deeper. You're right. It might go into whatever kind of abuse could have happened as a kid, or the things they saw, or whatever, right? And that's where their psychologist or I can't think of the other, psychiatrist will deal with those kind of things. Psychologists mostly, right? They'll deal with those kind of aspects, because that's not really, you're out of your scope of practice as a CNA.
Right. But like, it's something that's triggering them to start like losing their shit, and it's probably not. Maybe food. I mean, you guys, like you said, you're feeding them.
You would be surprised how much of it is. It's just those 4 basic needs of I'm thirsty, right? Or I'm so used to being able to have a pop when I want to pop, right? That now I don't have any money because I was put in a state hospital involuntarily, right? All this shit. So like, a lot of that stuff actually, it really does. Yes, of course, like there's things that you just can't help, right? That only medicine is going to help. But at the same time, like, you can't just come in and put someone on medicine if they refuse it. There's this actual big long process of, okay, well, it goes to court and then it has to get approved through a judge's order. There was times where we literally would come to work and they're like, well, we have to go to this unit, guys, and we have to go force meds on this guy. What do you mean force meds on him?
Yeah, what do you mean?
So basically, we have to go in and, like we said, we try to explain to him the situation, as your doctors have talked about with you, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You know, coming down to a judge's order, they have to give you medication. And this could be a guy that you had a really good rapport with, 100%, right? And they look at you and they're like, fuck you, right? And the first thing they do is they try to swing at you.
Yeah.
Well, that initiates that whole, they're being immediate danger to themselves or others. So you restrain them. Maybe 2 or 3 other people come in and help you. And so they're not flailing their arm around for a short brief of time, right? And you go in and you give them a shot. You're not us. The nurse comes in and gives them a shot.
Well, you hold them down.
And maybe for 2 weeks, we have to do that every day.
Until
that med works. And you can see how well whatever was imbalanced in their system, I'll admit not all meds work, and I'm not a Western medicine person of like, let's give meds to everybody. But for some things that are mental and the illnesses that are provided in that, you can truly, I've seen the difference of someone where they went from just being absolutely manic and up and down and what people like to say crazy, but just truly unwell, right? Just unwell. And all of a sudden, this med kicks in after 2 weeks and they're just like me and you.
No way.
I swear to God, bro. I've seen that so many times. But the saddest part about that is we all talk about there's not enough health or help for mental health. The dude with the dark blue, right? Does all the mental health stuff. Love all the causes for it. But again, like we talk about, bureaucrats in the system that make sure shit can't get done. So I'm sitting there one day with my best friend Toa. We worked together. He was a Samoan dude from Samoa, of course. But we'd sit there and we were there all the time together. I knew he had my back. If like I was getting choked out by a client or a patient, I knew he would save me, right? And I didn't have that with a lot of the other people because some of these people were scary, man. Like they truly were. Like, and I did work on a CJS unit where there are convicted killers.
Wow.
Right? Can't get into any of that details because subpoena, HIPAA, that kind of shit.
Of course.
But like it was crazy. It was some intense stuff.
Wow.
But like the help that you actually saw some of the people get was pretty cool.
Would they have like super like tattoos all over their face and
I actually only dealt with one case like that.
But they were like
pretty soon.
And they were like kind of insane.
No. So like back to like the whole bureaucrat kind of thing. A lot of it is in the correctional facility it's a free ride for some people. So you just act a little crazy. So basically to get there, all you have to do is say you don't understand your charges.
Whoa.
If you don't understand your charges, then they're going to put you in a state facility to then evaluate your mental capacity. Right. But if they can prove, through, sometimes it could be a year-long process of these doctors interviewing these patients constantly, that he understands his charges. He's just saying he doesn't.
Right.
Right. But a lot of like people do it just for a vacation from jail. Because like it's why we call it criminal justice unit, and they are in a locked cell for, you know, most of the day. It's, well, not locked cell, it's actually an open cell unless something goes down and we have to lock the block and go on and restrain anybody if there's fights. But it's like jail, but they have open doors basically when they want open doors. Yeah. So it was a vacation to them because they had a TV in the front room they could control at all times.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
They got out and we let them play Xbox, PlayStation,
Smoke breaks.
therapeutic. They didn't allow cigarettes there.
Okay.
They did some kind of tax thing years before where if they didn't allow the patients or the staff to smoke anymore, they got like $10 million a year from the state.
Oh, weird.
Right. It's just one of those insurance kind of things. We don't have to pay so much in insurance because there's not flames up here and all that nonsense.
Okay.
So that was actually a disadvantage because I was always like, it'd be a lot easier if these fools could smoke a cigarette some days, you know, like fuck. But man, it was. So the problem is too is like I'm saying, the bureaucracy of it is a lot of people there don't need to be there, right?
Right.
They're using the system.
Yeah.
And I'd say at least in the criminal justice service, a lot of them are that way. This day and age to get NGMI, which is not guilty by reason of mental insanity, is super rare.
Okay.
You can try to argue that all day long. You're going to have lots of testing and you're going to spend a couple years in a state hospital, which is a mental facility. If people like to call it an asylum, what the hell ever. It's not an asylum, but they still like to term it that, right? Like you're going to spend a couple years there while they're evaluating you. And if you don't, then you're just going to go back to jail anyway, right? You might have gotten 3 years out of prison, but did all this work, got used to a certain way of living, and then you have to go back to prison.
Yeah.
Fuck that noise. Right. But then there's people in there that want the help and there's people in there that don't want the help. And you can usually see the people that do. But like I'm saying, we'll go in and we'll force meds. We'll get someone stabilized for 6 months and they ship them off with no job, with no income, with this fucking $8,000 a month bill for their medication if they want to stay healthy.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And they only give them the first 6 weeks of their medications.
That's hilarious.
So we send you out the door, we stabilize you, force meds on you, do all this shit, right? And then we basically, well, not we, but the bureaucrats kick you out the door and say, good luck in 6 weeks. Either eat, feed your family, pay your rent, or take your meds.
Who could afford $8,000 a month?
Even if it was $800 a month, a lot of these people can't afford that, right?
Yeah.
Of course, I was being exaggerated when I said 8,000.
Well,
but
I don't know. I've
still,
heard of things.
Some of those things do cost that much,
Yeah.
but usually at that point they do have state help. So basically they kick them out, and that's what it ends up coming down to. 3 months later, guess who's back?
That guy.
It used to be, the system used to be when my dad worked there and like my aunts and uncles, and when the system was like really instituted, it wasn't acute, it was chronic, which means they rehabilitated people. You didn't get out until you could prove you were rehabilitated.
Wow.
Right. So the state hospital before, I think it was like 1980 or something, was fully self-sustainable. They had their own farm, they had their own cattle, they had everything where legitimately they didn't need the town to help them. They didn't, because all the people that basically could have a job at the state hospital worked there.
Wow.
Worked in the laundry, worked in the kitchen, and it gave them something to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
Instead of sit in your
employees-
room and decide what you want to do for the next 8-9 months of your life. And maybe you want to go to a group that you'll get, some benefits out of. So maybe you won't go to a group that you'll get benefits out of. That's all up to how you feel. It could take 6 years for you to get out of here if anyone really cares. But it's also acute of a revolving door of, we'll get them good for, like I said, we'll keep them for 6 months, get them stable, send them out, and they're back in 3, if not a month later. And it's like this. So you're never really servicing new people. And if you are, then it's the same shit.
They're starting their cycle.
They're starting their cycle.
Like, wow.
And it's like,
saying wow.
but it's true. The money wasted, man. Like I saw how much money the state, right? Like I saw an email. I was a security guard and I was pretty good in with everybody. When I got attached to an email, I probably shouldn't have been attached to one time. I'm not going to say no names or name, but there was at least
80% left from the budget last year that they hadn't spent, that they were worried about spending this year. So they were literally talking back and forth in an email about how to spend this shit.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was because if you don't spend it, then you're not going to get that same amount next year from the state.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. But instead of doing these things to help people out, they're getting new cabinets and they're putting in tile. And instead of making sure that you have good staff, instead of giving them raises and doing shit like that, they're lining their own pockets. But it's real funny that everyone that was up in the ivory tower, as we like to call it, the administration building, all had new cars every 2 months. I swear to God, it was every 2 to 6 months, bro. And I'm like, either you guys are on a lease program or you guys are rolling in the dough. Like, I just don't understand this shit. It was crazy.
Yeah, and because they can hire their friends or whoever has the construction.
That's exactly it.
Company, and then pay them double, and then split it, and
government contracts are always overpaid.
Right.
Always. What was it? Springfield Armory took the Army's contract a couple of years ago, right?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it's Springfield Armory I looked at their gun because I was like, I like their pistols, right? And looked at it and I was like, okay, about $325. So then I saw the ad or the whatever it was from, not the ad, the shit from where we spent the allocation from the government to Springfield Arms, and they paid them $1,200.
Oh my God.
Per the same gun.
Right.
What the fuck? What, have you never heard of wholesale before?
I know, right? It should be cheaper.
That's what I was, 4 times more expensive. That makes no sense.
I'm gonna sell you underwear for $100 a pair, U.S. government. You just call me, and we'll make a deal.
Protect the president's boys.
Yeah. Well, if Dave Smith wins, and he won't, he could, but it's anyways. He wears sheath. He should be the libertarian candidate for president in 2024, which should be fun.
That's the dude we just printed that stuff for, right?
Robbie. That was Robbie.
Okay.
And that's actually another dude for David Blankenship. Now he was chair. He became. They took over this whole caucus of the Libertarian Party, the Mises Caucus. They're called the Mecox.
The Mecox.
And the Mecox support sheath underwear because we support the Mecox, which is the libertarian, which has cock in it, which is kind of funny.
That is funny. And that with their thing's a hedgehog.
That's the Libertarian Party instead of the donkey.
Okay, gotcha.
I don't know what a meek. Okay, so the Mecock is a Mises caucus, and Ludwig von Mises was some libertarian economic guy, and he something. I don't even know. Maybe he was like a theorist.
Anytime I hear like that name, like Ludwig or something like that old, I always think of like Ghostbusters.
I think of Germans.
Yeah, that's true. But I always think of like some dude that like practiced dark magic back in the day.
Yeah. Well, he was some sort of.
I like those names though.
Ludwig,
like Vladimir.
Mises caucus. So it's his caucus. They took it over. Like they won every chair, delegate, spot, position, and so if Dave wants to run, he'll be the candidate. And he's really good. He's a comedian, so he can talk shit, and like he can take heckles, and like if they ask him a crazy question, he's probably got a good answer for it. So anywhere sheath, and I if the president's wearing sheath, or even a presidential candidate, because they always get more popular every time there's a presidential candidate. Now everybody, most people know Ron Paul or Gary Johnson
Newt
or
Gingrich or any of those motherfuckers.
Newt Gingrich was a Republican, but
was he?
Yeah,
I thought he ended up running as an independent.
Oh, maybe
I thought
he might. Yeah,
you're
probably right. He was something House of Representatives. He was actually supposedly pretty good because he helped with the budget, and that's the whole thing I don't like about these people is they're not showing us the money. They're overspending, they're being irresponsible, and then still lending more money to other countries. No offense, but like if we're in debt, we can't give you money that we don't have. And it's all like a mystery, like where it's all going.
I like to say they're not countries anymore, but they're just businesses. They're just brands. They're on their own brand. America, China, Australia. It's all their own brand bullshit.
Well, and that's why I wanted I didn't vote for Trump, whatever, but I wanted a business person. Could have been Carla Fiorina.
But a good business person at that, right?
Yeah.
Not Trump.
Well, there was the lady, her name was like Carla Fiorina or something.
Oh, I know who you're talking. Yeah.
She was the president of Hewlett Packard. She really seemed like she was kind of like ethical and business-like and smart, and that's what I want, somebody that's not gonna treat the government like it's piggy bank, but like a business that needs to show profits and losses or whatever.
No, I get that. Yeah, because I don't think Fort Knox or none of our gold has been audited since. I think Kennedy was the last one to do it, and I may be wrong about that. Right, I'll have to double check my facts. But it's real funny. Like, people always ask, like, why did Kennedy get assassinated? And I truly believe, if you go back and look at it, for a short period of time. Yeah, I got one on me.
What? Like a pricker?
No. Let's see.
Oh, $1 bill.
So, at the top, what does it say in the brown piece in between the 20s?
Federal Reserve note.
What's a note?
It is they wrote you something. Yeah, it's just
It's a loan.
A loan. Okay.
Look up in banking terms. A note. If you pay your car note,
that's
you're paying a loan.
Yeah.
So when I looked further and deeper into it, right, this really is valueless. This is a loan on the Federal Reserve of what our gold is supposed to be.
Right.
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 But we haven't done an audit of the gold since, I believe it was Kennedy. For a short period of time, he actually took and got rid of the Federal Reserve. If you can still find the bills, I think it's from 1961 to 62. It was right before he was assassinated. It was only like 6 months. It no longer said Federal Reserve. No, it said United States.
Right.
Because he was saying, we're now going to start being responsible, as this is real money. This is currency. This is not a loan from the Federal Reserve. A lot of people don't realize that this is at the Federal Reserve, which is the Rockefellers. It's a private entity.
I know.
Right? So if they wanted to disappear tomorrow, right?
They're loaning our government money.
Exactly.
At interest.
Then all this is tender. There's literally places in other countries where it costs $3 million to buy a can of tuna. Right. And they literally have to pay like this. So you see pieces of paper just scattered, like, or it's paper now. Well, it was paper then, but basically just dollar bills just laying on the street because actual paper is more valuable than their money there. I don't want America to become like that.
I know.
Right. So I think that's why he was assassinated, because he was going to take the power away from the Federal Reserve, which was the Rockefellers and everybody else.
Right.
And when you start fucking around with people's money, they're going to kill you.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. And it's really funny that right after he died, it went right back to the Federal Reserve.
Wow.
I don't think that's coincidence.
Yeah. I heard something about him making it was like a greenback or something, and it was just backed by the American, I don't know, but not.
I think it was the price of gold
with the Federal Reserve.
Yeah, it didn't have nothing to do with the Federal Reserve.
And that's what a lot of libertarians say. A lot of Ron Paul's like in the Fed because they're like jacking around interest rates to control the economy, and
that's
but the fact that they have control and they're making interest off of our. Like, of what? Like, why are they involved?
Again, like George Carlin, we're not really free. When do you own something? You have to pay taxes on this property. Yeah, exactly. I have to pay taxes on my property.
Exactly.
Right? So when do you truly own something? On my vehicle, I have to pay taxes. To be able to drive it around, I have to, license it and plate it and do all that bullshit. I have to pay so many taxes that I never truly own something where I don't have to pay for it again.
Unless it's like clothes or something maybe. And, well, that... this dude, he's Klaus Schwab. He's like saying, you're gonna, from Davos, the New World Order people, shout out, call me.
NWO.
Let's do business. Yeah. But they're, you're gonna own nothing and you're gonna be happy. I don't know exactly what that means, but it sounds like we're already kind of there to an extent. And we're here, we're trying to live the American dream, doing the best we can. It's a grind. You know, it's a challenge for everybody. Nobody's got it. Well, some people have like a silver spoon, I guess, but
I think giving this people the silver spoon are being really conservative right now.
everyone should be conservative because this shit is on shaky ground.
You know, I actually talked to my dad about this a while back, but I was like, you know, like I've always been a big wrestling fan before MMA was popular and legal, right? Before it was like a, you know, black market sport basically. In the 90s, all I had was wrestling, WWE. I didn't watch that shit over WCW, just watched WWF at the time kind of stuff, right? So like I've always been like really into that kind of side of business of wrestling and like just paying your dues. Like there's a lot of that in wrestling too. Like people want to say it's fake. People want to, it's predetermined. I do agree, but like you go get hit in the face with a steel chair.
Yeah, those slaps.
You go do it.
Like,
yeah.
or they hit you in the back with a chair.
Or even that. These people are actually performing most of the time.
Jump
like
off
the
the
stars, you know,
cage.
the top 15 people are performing 300 days a year. Okay. Wrestling doesn't do that. Football sure as shit doesn't do that. The only people that I think even come close to that kind of schedule is what, hockey, not even hockey, baseball. They're the only ones that play like 100 games or something like that, right?
Yeah.
A season or some shit.
People that have everyday jobs, they go to work.
They do, but they're not getting, you know, thrown off the top rope onto, you know, even if it's padded, shit, 12-foot drop is 12-foot drop.
I know.
Like,
yeah.
so I've always had a lot of respect for wrestling. I actually
For
just
sure.
did, like I said, that Jack Claffey did his get. He was from the WWE. I've gotten more business from in England from him.
Right.
At least more. If I haven't gotten business, I've had attraction to the website. Literally, I have at least 200 people new a month from England.
Okay.
And he's the one from England sharing the shit, looking at the website, because I have my platform actually tells me each time someone logs on and their location. So
Yeah.
if you logged on and say Woodland Park, and if you register, it would tell me who you were,
Right.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
So like it's actually pretty cool to like look at that analytics
Absolutely.
of just because he's sharing
shit
they
all
might not
day.
be selling something all the time, but they're getting eyes on the brand.
Yeah.
Right.
The seed is planted.
So like wrestling's always been in that with me. I still think you should try to get with Roman Reigns, which is he's probably the hottest thing in wrestling right now, right? Is like everyone's on that like list, but he's part of a old school Samoan dynasty family of wrestlers.
Okay.
Like legitimately, and he is right now at the top of the list. But when he wrestles in pants, kind of like in like a tactical kind of pants. But
Okay.
all you see is his waistband all the time.
So sheath would be perfect.
And all you see is Under Armour on that shit.
No way.
And I'm sitting there looking all the time, watching it, bro, going,
Oh, we
Sheath
need
would
to-
look real well on that.
Yeah, that's the kind
Roman Reigns hit us up, right?
Yeah.
Hit Bobby up, bro. Like
Yeah, we need to talk to Roman.
Joe Anoa'i. And now I can't say it. Anoa'i. Anoi. I'm fucking it up now.
fucked
Disrespecting
it
his
all up.
family. Sorry, bro.
It's all good. It's much. It's the attempt.
The king of the table or the head of the table is what his like the moniker is right now. So it's like it's a cool thing, but I really think just the views. Like I love MMA, always have, right?
Yeah.
But wrestling still gets the most views per show, per anything. Like you look at Facebook, Instagram, and any of that kind of stuff. Wrestling has more combined fans than NFL, NBA, NHL, Walmart, McDonald's, Starbucks. There's like
fuck?
25 other huge brands and sports brands out there. I think even UFC, I believe, because it's not all the way worldwide, but wrestling was worldwide first, right? There's like, I think it's like 2.3 billion people at least follow wrestling,
Jesus.
right? And WWE. So you
Gotta get
get
in
on that stage, especially someone like Roman Reigns, which is the double champion right now, whether it's legitimate or not.
I know. I'm
Right?
not worried about.
No,
that.
I know. I just say other people. When I was, when I
He's
was
the
a kid,
world
dude,
champ.
I was so afraid to tell people when I was a kid that I was a wrestling fan,
Oh wow.
right? Because you kind of felt like, oh shit, am I white trash? Like that's the way they made you feel,
I know.
right? Like other people, like you watch that shit, like, oh, it's fake, or it's bloody, and it's this and it's that, and it's like, but it's entertainment, right? There's been plenty of times I've ordered a UFC pay-per-view where I'm like, I just spent $75 fucking on that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then as a kid, every month I ordered a $35 to $40 pay-per-view from wrestling, and I can guarantee you I never walked away not happy. It didn't matter if my guy lost and got his ass beat, right? But I guess I understand entertainment different than other people at the same time. People are so competitive, like, oh, my guy didn't win. But was it a good fight?
Yeah, it's got to be a good fight.
Right? Like,
a good fight.
I get, like, your guy might have gotten trashed and then it sucks. But when it comes to those dog wars, like, there's just those straight fights and wars, right?
Yeah, and it's like a split decision.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're like...
Nobody lost.
Like, that was great.
Exactly.
100%.
Yeah.
So...
I'm like that with chess when I play. Like, if I lose from a stupid mistake or whatever, I get really irritated with myself. But if it was a good game and like when you got here, at least it was a draw.
Exactly.
A draw. I'll take a draw over a loss.
Yeah, you guys both had two pieces each.
I had my king and my knight, and he only had his king. I think I could have got him, but maybe not.
It would have been a little while.
Yeah, maybe I don't.
It's really hard to trap someone with you have to be in a corner, and if he knows to stay in the middle.
Yeah, but I'm taking these lessons, and I feel like he showed me a way. Now, I'm not sure I would have remembered exactly how to do it, but you just kind of like
just keep hooking him in.
Yeah, you got to like take him to the corner somehow.
That's what I was saying. You have to trap him in the corner to make sure that he just really has no more movement there.
I'm not sure how I would do that. We need to go back over that one, Georgie. I was supposed to have a lesson today. I was supposed to have a chess lesson today at 4, but
oh, nice.
It got canceled because we got this and so.
I appreciate the time, bro.
Yeah.
Our last time chilling until come back for a while. I should be up next month to sign papers on the house once it sells.
Nice.
So you can chill for a little while. My wife wants to know if you and your wife want to go paddle boarding, since we didn't get to last time.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to ask her. That sounds fun. Where we have that canoe?
Somewhere where there's a lake around here, isn't there?
Yeah. We'll ask her.
A lake.
We'll go talk to her. That would be fun. I would love to get her out on a paddleboard.
They're awesome. They're pretty fun, actually.
Okay.
Gets your chest muscles a good workout.
Yes.
100%.
I've been doing a lot of pull-ups. I didn't do them today. You gotta take a couple days off, but I can do a lot more now because I'm just like, I feel my back was hurting, a lot, and I think a lot of it is due to just like lack of use and lack of muscle
sedentary
definition.
lifestyle.
Yeah.
Not saying you're sedentary, but the more you become, sitting down and stuff like. That
Well,
was
and
my
if you
biggest
only-
argument with Amazon all the time, dude. Is like I don't mind processing. I worked in the customer returns section, right? So like, you motherfuckers sending back all that nasty shit back to Amazon and expecting your returns. That shit's wrong, by the way.
Yeah.
But be beyond that point, right? Like,
send it back clean.
100%.
Or
Like
how you got it. It's
or
crazy.
how you got it.
Yeah, you're not supposed to
Like,
send back
I
dirty
actually
underwear.
made that suggestion to him. Like, you know how back in the day Blockbuster used to charge you if you didn't rewind your thing?
Nice.
I'm like, I think if this shit comes back, it's a nice dress or it's whatever, and it comes back bunched in a fucking ball, and we could have resold it, but now we can't because it looks like trash.
That's dirty.
They don't get their full refund.
Yeah, they should get a little.
And they're like, oh, but that's not fair. And I'm like, fuck you guys, whatever. That's how I knew that they were kind of screwing the small businessmen in the long run of things.
And they're taking their piece. They're taking their cut.
taking their piece,
for
100%.
sure. These things
But,
like the John Gotti.
So I process that stuff, but like I always felt like I print all the time anyway. So I took the Amazon job not to deal with clothes, and then it was like the most ironic fucking thing in the world, dude. You don't get to pick where you work at Amazon; they pick it for you.
Yeah.
So I go to orientation, and they're like, "Oh, so you're going to be returning clothes?" I did this not to have to do that. So anyway, I would like do all the bitch work. Basically, I would go up every day and be like, "Do you have pallets that need moved? Do you have this that needs moved?" Like, I'll be the water spider, which basically means like you would check on everybody and like refill their totes and bags and like all kinds of crazy. So it was like basically like 6 miles of walking a night, right? And I told him I would much rather do that than sit there and process. When you sit there and have me process, like legitimately, my back just freezes.
Yeah.
So I have 2 rods, 16 screws, T6 to T12 is fused into one bone, all because of scoliosis. Right. So like the more I just stand there in one spot, the worse it is for my lower back. Like it's just on fire. It feels like it's throbbing. Like I get fucking mean with people. I know I do, because like I could see people like come to ask me a question. I would just like give them that look like, what the fuck do you want? They'd walk away. right? And it had nothing to do with them. It was, man, I hurt right now, right? Like I'm dying. And
Yikes.
exactly. And so I'd always go and ask them, like, what's the bitch work? Right? I will do it. And I keep telling them that motion is the lotion. Motion is the lotion.
Motion is lotion.
I would much rather walk around this building for 6 miles a night than sit there in one spot. But some people aren't like that either. They want an easy job. And I mean, I remember I unloaded a full truck of Amazon shit by myself. I think I have the picture, bro. Like, how do you expect an Amazon truck comes? Do you think shit's like packed nicely and shit like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's legitimately thrown in there. So you open this truck and shit just falls out of it.
Oh, wow.
So like I would think it was a volume of like 57,000 items. And with not like, well, that's like including the little like mailers,
or whatever.
right? Mailers. Okay. And so basically like you set up a big Gaylord, which is a big, huge, like 8-foot cardboard box.
Gaylord.
Yeah. And you put it behind you, dude, and you just start throwing, right? For like 5 hours, you just start throwing behind you of like all these like things. And then there's a bunch of boxes under that shit. And I literally unloaded a whole box or a whole truck by myself in the 4 hours that we were there. And I was like, that shit was more of a workout than going to the fucking gym was, right? Because the big boxes have 100 or 200 of those mailers in it from UPS. So you pick that thing up and it's like 70, 80 to, I swear, 150 pounds a box. And you have to restack it onto, so you have to make it look good on the pallets, stack them 4 high by 4 by 4. Like that shit was a hard workout every night, but it was 10 times better than sitting there standing, being bored out of your mind, folding clothes.
What are you stacking, the boxes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the stuff goes in like go-karts or the Gaylords, like I was talking about, the big cardboard. I have no idea why they call them Gaylords.
That's so funny.
No
I'm like, I'm doing like running this warehouse here in Woodland Park. Come see us. You got to ring the bell. If we're not there, just ring the bell. We'll come see you. And I'm moving. Yeah, we have like just a bunch of, it's like running a warehouse, and so we're constantly processing and taking boxes off pallets and putting them in the bins and throwing away the boxes and just doing orders. We're doing orders every day. So I have like a little job. It's a very small company still. I'm still working. I mean, I took a couple years off, I guess, but it's fun, and I like being involved and having something to do. But I was playing like way too much chess before, so now I still play. And we should go play. You want to play a game?
Yeah, we definitely do that.
Okay, you're
hell yeah,
7th grade champion here, Kel Conroy, co-alpha 1. Check him out. If you need prints, I'll show you this.
Oh, these are some special edition Cowboy Cerrones we did.
Yeah, Cerrone, baby. You guys know we roll with Cerrone. He did that sweet tweet with Gina Carano about SHEATH. I don't know if you saw it.
Oh, I did actually.
That was so dope. I couldn't believe it. I was like, he is so the man. But this is the shorts. They got the slit.
Our patented, soon to be patented 8-inch side slit.
Patented alpha black label.
So yeah, we got a couple of pairs. Like, we'll make your sponsors look right when you're fighting, right? None of that vinyl bullshit. I found out even Venom and UFC use vinyl.
Oh wow.
And I'm disappointed, bro. I gotta tell you right now, I found that shit out during Pride Month. I heard on a little like thing of, they got asked, do you want rainbow vinyl on your fight kit? Wait a minute, you're in the top elite fucking industry in MMA, the top tier elite, and you're telling me they put vinyl on your shorts still? What the fuck? Like, Venom can't even invest. I'm calling your ass out right now. You can't even invest in like putting the name legitimately, getting one. As soon as the dude gets signed to a UFC contract, you make him 3 pairs of shorts. I'm not, whether he uses them or whether he doesn't, it doesn't matter.
Give it away.
Exactly.
Yeah, people will take that shit.
And if he becomes a better star, becomes more fights, you make him more. I get that.
Yeah.
Right? Or you make them for wholesale like we did with Cowboy shit. But this whole fact of like, these guys are supposedly top of the line, but they don't even sublimate their champion's name on his champion pair, which is supposed to be black and gold.
That's whack.
Isn't that whack? So hit us up. We got you.
Yeah.
We got all kinds of crazy cool pairs, patterns. I don't know if you can see it, but there's actually a tiger stripe pattern
Oh yeah.
even behind all his logos. So our signature, of course, is our octo. We got our little octo with the sheath because the sheath's our main supporter all the time, right there.
I love that. So that's going to Elijah Smith.
Swift Smith, yep.
That's Gilbert Smith's son. He's coming up, Colorado Combat Club. He's fighting. I went and saw him and win, like retain the belt. He's very exciting. I hope to see good things from him.
Yup.
We're supposed to be doing a deal. We've just been like chilling on the sponsorships just because of the whole economic factors. Everybody out there, we still love you, but it's nothing personal.
100%. It's crazy out there.
It's crazy out there, but we're gonna keep grinding and doing the thing. Thank you for coming on. This has been a very
Thanks for having me for my first podcast. I appreciate it, bro.
Yeah, that was fun. You guys, that was fun. You guys liked that one. That was a good one. Go to sheathunderwear.com as well.
And also, anyone that gets a pair of shorts from this episode, if you use promo code SHEATH, you get 20% off.
Boom. There you go. 20%. That's a good deal. These are really good too. I have a bunch of pairs. I got some from On It. These are better.
I've even had a Cowboy Cerrone. He told me that my fit and quality were unreal.
Yeah.
Right. And that that's one of those things. I'm sure you've had it before with other people, right? Especially with underwear. But like, it just, that almost makes your heart like skip a beat, right? You're like, oh my God, like I finally got recognition from someone, right? And someone who's had Reebok, Venom, Bad Boy, fucking Metal Militia, probably every brand that has ever made, shorts. He was like, your fit and quality are unreal. And I was like, damn, man, this is where I'm going to start. I think that's where we're going. That's always been my dream. Screen printing was the foot into that dream.
Yeah.
Right. But fight gear and shorts specifically have always been like my passion, the design of it all, to where the sponsors truly fit and flow. I hate when people, I'm not going to call anyone out.
Compact it and just like throw it on there.
Just throw it on there, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think it should flow 100%. So, but that for another time. Let's get to a fucking game of chess.
Yeah, I like seeing Cerrone. We'll see. I see him on his Instagram and he's rocking them. But yeah, okay, we're out. Peace.
Later.